All right, good morning, traders. Today is May 29th, 2024. Thank you for being here. My SPY pivot this morning is 529 above it. I'm a bull, below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 are in daily uptrends. QQQ, FNGU, IWM, and SPY all made higher highs and higher lows yesterday. SPY ends the day with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend, closing the day over the daily chart bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. Diamond Dow made a lower high and a lower low, closing below the bearish trap and below the 17 EMA. QQQ and FNGU closed the day over the bullish trap, over the 17 EMA. IWM closed the day under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. Gold, still in an uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17 EMA, while silver, still in an uptrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over the bullish trap and over the rising 17 EMA. USO, still in an uptrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish cross and over the 17 EMA. UNG, still in an uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside the bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. US dollar index, still in a downtrend, closing near the 104.60 area. All right, let's go take a look at some charts. All right, first chart. Let's get this open here. SPY. All right, here's SPY. Here's yesterday's candle. Got a higher low, higher high. Closing over, this would be the bullish trap. That's the yellow 3 EMA on top of the gray or the white 8 EMA. All right, so we closed over the bullish trap. And these green dots, those are the 17 EMA. All right, so we closed over the trap, and also notice the trap is over the 17 EMA. So bullish close there yesterday on SPY. On the 2-hour chart, you can see the yellow is on top of the white 8 EMA. All right, the yellow line. So that is a bullish uptrend. So we had a 2-hour uptrend yesterday as well as a daily uptrend. And then we go down to the 10-minute chart, and you've noticed the yellow 3 is on top of the white 8. We had a 10-minute uptrend. So we had a daily uptrend, a 2-hour uptrend, and a 10-minute uptrend. Problem is we didn't produce a higher high. Okay, so what are we doing? We're coming back to test these lows. All right, so we got an open trap right here. Excuse me, an open gap. And you can see it exists right about through there. And you can see right now we're chopping around in the middle of it right there. So that's 2 times they tried to get to the bottom of the trap. This could indicate a little bit of weakness on the bear's part if they can't fill the gap. All right, failing to fill the gap could result in a rip rocket ride back up to the top up here, 530. So we've been struggling with 530 since the 24th. We've gotten up here and we did once, twice, 3, 4 times right there. And then we came back down here and tested the area right before the open gap. And now we're in the middle of the open gap. I don't know whether we're going to close this gap today. If we don't close it, that is that's bullish, all right? Or it shows it's not really bullish, but it shows weakness on the bear's part if they can't just fill the gap because there's no price action and volume here from a prior state. So, failure to fill the gap kind of shows weakness on the bear's part. And just kind of watch for that rip rocket ride back up to the yesterday's closing area, right about here, about 529.86. So we have an open gap above us, right up here. All right, you'll see, because if we open down here, we left off here. So that's going to leave all of this as an open gap, depending upon where we open. Whether we open inside this gap, whether we fill the gap, or whether we fail to fill the gap and start working our way back up. So there's SPY for today. All right, so we're under the pivot, and the pivot is about 529. We'll put that in there. So pivot's 529. We'll crank it up. All right. So above the pivot, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. So down here, I'm looking for red erases green entries on my 10-minute chart. If I see red candles wipe out some green candles, and they're not like right on top of support, I'd be interested in shorting the market to go further south. All right, so there's SPY. All right, let's take a peek at QQQ. Pick it up on the daily chart. Let's look at yesterday's price action. Let's squeeze this down just a little bit. Okay, so here's yesterday's price action, higher low, higher high. Closing over the bullish trap. Notice the 3 is on top of the white 8 EMA. And all three of them, price, the 3 and the 8, are all over a rising 17 EMA. So there's QQQ, still in an uptrend, higher lows and higher highs. Okay, notice today's candle is not breaking down too far, not like SPY. So there's QQQ. Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay, here's FNGU doing the same thing, higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap. That's the yellow 3 EMA. We're closing above it. All right, so, and all three, price, the 3, the 8, all over the rising 17 EMA. Higher low, higher high, we are bullish, still in an uptrend. So FNGU, SPY, QQQ, still in uptrends. All right, still bullish. All right, IWM. Yesterday's candle for IWM, well, we gapped up and came back and filled the gap for IWM. But yesterday's candles, higher low, higher high, and we closed under the bearish trap and under the 17 EMA right here. You notice it's not green, it's red right in there. So under the 17 and under the bearish trap. So not looking too good for IWM. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Here's Diamond Dow, yesterday's candle. Lower high as opposed to the other 4 or the other 3. Lower high and lower low, closing below the bearish trap, below the 17 EMA. Notice price, the 8 and the 3 are all under the 17 EMA. That's bearish, all right? We break this low right here, and we have ourselves pretty much a downtrend right there if we break that low right there. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if I want to call it that low or this low, but we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at our technicals, T2122. Here's yesterday's price action, and this will be the 28th. You can see we got thrown out of the buyers. The bears threw us out of the buyers' chop zone, and we wound up in the sellers' chop zone, making a lower low. See, here's the prior low. We made a lower low. And guess what else? We made lower highs right here. There's a prior high. Here's a lower high. All right, and then from there, we kind of meandered our way down all the way into the sell zone where the bulls threw us out of there. And now we left off inside the seller's chop zone right there, T2122. T2123, we came melting through this rising 200 SMA right here. Yesterday's price action was, well, we had a couple of green candles there. The rest of the day was red. Just a sell-off to the end of the day on T2123 15-minute chart. On the 3 bar, you can see day before we had price action was right there on top of the 17. Notice no space where we had space in the prior days. So yesterday's we put in one green candle right here and 2 red ones for T2123 3-bar chart. Okay, so you can see price probably coming back right here. Still in a bull flag. I don't know if it's going to come all the way down to the rising 17. It may, all right, but it's up and it's consolidating to the right. All right, so the bears, if the bears are in power, they should be able to rip it all the way back down to the 200, and I don't see that happening right now. All I see is kind of the bulls are still holding on to this bull flag. If we put the quad lines in here, you can see we're still in upper quadrant 4 right there. So here's our bull flag pole, and this is our flag from right here, right there on the 20th up to today. This is still bullish. We are still in quadrant 4, and you can see we could come all the way back to about right here and still stay in the upper third of this bull flag move. So we'll see what happens there with T2123. Still bullish. Notice we have a U bottom right here instead of a V bottom. A V bottom would be a down and then a sharp move down and a sharp move up. We got kind of a U bottom where we have a wide spanning move down and move back up. So we'll see what happens there with that T2123. FNGU, yesterday's price action, okay? Green from the beginning of the day. Then we had a couple of red candles, a little pullback to check support. And then they wound up finding higher highs after checking the support area. So here we are with consolidation. They found some higher highs. And I don't know why they're giving that up already this morning, but something tells me one of those big boys got the flu. One of the big boys in the FNGU, because that was equal low, and then they produced that higher high. Still couldn't take out this high. They got pretty close in the pre-market right there, but didn't quite cut the mustard. So there's FNGU. All right, so on the 15-minute chart, that's our FNGU indicator. All right, let's take a look at precious metals. All right, let's take a look at gold first. So here's gold price action for yesterday. A higher high, higher low, closing inside a bearish trap, but under the 17 EMA. So there's gold. Still in an uptrend until it breaks this low right here. All right, gold still in an uptrend until it breaks the low. All right, getting a pullback last 7 days here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 days, or 5 days really, because this is today. All right, so there's gold still in an uptrend, just showing a little weakness right now. SLV. SLV prints a higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap. Nice bottom tail there, okay? Closing up that high. That's nice. Kind of shows they're leaning on this price up here. So there's silver with a higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap. Notice all 3 of them over the rising 17 EMA. So silver getting it done. Almost pretty close to making some new highs. That may happen today. All right, so it's a 3-year high. All right, last high was made on 2/1/21. So that's 3 years ago. All right, and looking for a new high to show up maybe today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens. So there's silver putting in a higher low. There'll be pressure on the bulls to produce that higher high. Okay, so pulling up, pull back to support. Support holds, and now we're back up testing these highs. So there's silver. Now I may need to consolidate, but as long as it consolidates on top of support, I'm in favor of that. Okay, so there's silver in an uptrend, higher low, higher high. We have an uptrend in silver and gold. USO. USO, yesterday's price action. Let me make sure I got it right. All right, higher low, higher high closing over the bullish trap. USO still in the uptrend. All right. Had we broken this low, we'd be in a downtrend. Still in an uptrend. Higher low, higher high, closing over the bullish trap, over the flat 17 EMA. So there's crude oil, USO petroleum. All right. UNG, nat gas. Yesterday's price action, lower high, lower low, closing inside the bullish trap. Notice we came down here and we rallied back up into it. Inside the bullish trap, notice all three of them over the rising 17 EMA. So UNG, uptrend. USO, uptrend. Not a very nice uptrend, but an uptrend. All right. Precious metals, gold and silvers, uptrend. All right. Fab 5, uptrends, okay? IWM not looking too pretty, and Diamond Dow not looking good at all. But FNGU is looking very healthy, all right? So, and QQQ. SPY this morning, SPY was looking healthy yesterday. This morning, not so much, all right? So there we are with that. Let's take a look at some of the economic numbers we got out here today. All right, first one on the economic calendar. Tomorrow, GDP 8:30. Okay, so the market won't be open if you're trading options. So make sure you're all set on your options prior to GDP tomorrow morning at 8:30. All right, international trade goods also 8:30. Jobless claims 8:30. Corporate profits 8:30. Retail inventories 8:30. This is all tomorrow. Nothing's happening today. All right. Natural gas report, which usually happens today, is happening tomorrow at 10:30. Petroleum status report, 11 o'clock tomorrow. All right. And a couple of Fed speakers, and none of them are Mr. Powell. All right. For Friday, we got personal income and outlays at 8:30. Chicago PMI at 9:45. A rig count at 1 p.m. like every Friday, and another Fed speaker, but not Mr. Powell. So really looking pretty good. I don't expect GDP to come in. I don't expect any surprises from GDP. All right. If they do, I think they wind up on the positive side. I really don't see anything negative on GDP to drag us down. So we'll see what happens with that. Max Pain for today is all right. Max Pain is still 529, and we have a 1 1/3 put to call ratio here. All right. So yesterday we didn't have even one put for every call. Today we got 1 1/3 puts for every call, and Max Pain is 529. On the earnings calendar, not much happening. Salesforce going to report after the close today. That's about 264 billion, and that's it as far as possible market movers. There's some notables in there, but all in all, Salesforce is probably one of the big ones for this week. On Thursday, we got Costco's going to report on Thursday evening. That's 359 billion. They're going to report Thursday evening. Remember, GDP is Thursday morning. All right. Royal Bank of Canada, 148 billion. They're going to report in the morning. Dell, 114 billion. Marvell, 66 billion. And they're going to report in the evening. So Marvell and Dell, that's tech, they're going to report in the evening. Costco, that's retail, they're going to report in the evening as well. Royal Bank of Canada, that would probably be financials. They'll be reporting in the morning on tomorrow morning. Friday, Coca-Cola, Euro Pacific, 33. I think they were on the schedule last week. Maybe, maybe not. All right, so if they find their P&L sometime Friday, again, 33 billion. Nothing really market moving there, but is some notable names that we're familiar with. All right, so there's Friday and Monday. Again, nothing really market moving here, but just some familiar names. All right, so, and let's take a look at the dollar. So here's the dollar yesterday closing up around 104.60 overnight. They rallied back up to 104.70, and now they've pulled back. So we'll see what happens. All right, we've got a downtrend in the dollar. All right, it's U.S. dollar index. We've got lower highs and lower lows. That puts the dollar in a downtrend. Looking like we made another lower high. Can we make the lower low? That's the question. All right, because this was in an uptrend, making higher lows here and higher lows here. So we'll see what happens. All right, so there's the U.S. dollar. So I'll take questions in the room. If there's no questions, I'll render my video. Get that out. Hey, good morning, Chip, Lenny G, and Stefan. Thanks for being here. I want to thank everybody out there in digital land, and I'm talking about everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing and giving my content some of your attention. Appreciate that. Thanks. All right, so for right now, that's it. I'll answer questions in the room. If not, we'll move on and get this video rendered and posted.